Hello everyone, welcome to yet another video of Smart Grid video series. So in the previous video series we have discussed about what is an electric grid. So before getting to the actual topic of Smart Grid, let us have a small recap about what is a grid. A grid, as we discussed, it is an interconnection of power transformers, power lines, substations that delivers power from power generating stations to the consumers. Now, how actually this electric grid has evolved? Let's discuss that in detail in the upcoming videos, right? So we can split the evolution of electric grid into 4 phases: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 and phase 4. And in each phase a drastic changes has occurred. The electric grid has undergone many advancements, many changes. In phase 1, which is the early development stage, it took place between 1880s and 1930s. And 1880s were the time actually the electricity was being discovered. So the concept of electric power and its supply began with the invention of electric bulb by Thomas Alva Edison and the development of DC power system in the year 1880s. In 1882, Thomas Edison established the first power plant in New York City for the supplying DC powers to homes and businesses for lighting. So he first installed a power plant, a DC power plant, to supply power to homes and businesses, industries. So after that, Nikola Tesla and George Westinghouse introduced the concept of alternating power in the year 1891. That actually marked a drastic change in the electrical domain. They also shown that technical benefits of AC power for transmission over long distance as compared to DC power. Before 1891, there were only DC power transmissions, but of course it has its own drawbacks, because when we transmit DCs, you need a lot of power, and a lot of power will be lost. And also you cannot transmit power for longer distance, because as long as the distance increases, the losses will be more for DC power transmissions. But when they invented alternating current, this problem has been overcome. So in the period of 1900s to 1930s, a rapid expansion of electric grid occurred with the establishment of large AC power plants that has long distance transmission lines. In phase 2, which is the mid 20th century, during the period 1940s to 1950s, that marked the phase 2 of the electric grid, where the utility companies expanded their electric grid infrastructure for widespread of electrification and to meet the energy demand. In 1950s, the concept of electricity generation from nuclear energy was introduced. This gave a very new path for electricity generation at a very large scale. But before that, we only depended on hydro and thermal. But when the nuclear energy was discovered, it paved a way for a huge energy production. The new electric technologies like high voltage power transmissions were developed in the period of 1960s to 1970s, because since the nuclear energy power generation has been introduced, it marked the way for high power generations. So it also paved the way for high voltage power transmissions also. So in the year 1970s, the oil crisis and environmental concerns came into pictures, and hence because of these issues, the energy sector has shifted towards new and diversified energy sources to ensure sustainability. So in phase 1, the early DC power grid was formed. But after 1890s, where AC power were discovered, they switch over to AC grids. But in phase 2, there was a drastic change in the energy concept, because energy transmission concept, because of the invention of nuclear power systems, and hence high power transmission lines were erected, that is HVAC lines were being installed. So with this I stop here. In this video we have discussed about the evolution of electric grid, phase 1 and phase 2. In the next video we will discuss about phase 3 and the final phase of electric grid, which is the current phase of electric grid. Thank you. Thanks for listening.